Good morning. Let's have a look at yesterday. Augsburg scoring first against the odds-on favourites. Frankfurt, who did reply second half, so possible angles there. Irish Premier Division, Irish First Division, very little for us to get excited about this early on in the season, but it will start coming into its own a bit later. Genoa and Lazio, very tight, as you can imagine, with Genoa's need for points. Lazio did have the more classier form over the season. Well, Genoa, they're doing all right. So it's a 12-point gap to the relegation zone. So I think they're okay, but needs must for Lazio. Played a couple of games more than Atalanta, but they do have just that 1-point gap. They must try and aim for a Champions League spot. Lazio, it's well within their grasp, but again, they've got the disadvantage of playing 2 games more than Roma. Cagliari and Juve, if you stuck with the old lady, you'd have been okay here. But this is another solid performance from Cagliari. Again, this stage of the season, even a point. Again, they've played a couple of games more and they've played a game more than this lot. So they are at a disadvantage. Despite being 5 points ahead of Frosinone, they can't be caught by Frosinone, but can be caught by Udinese, certainly. Verona will be a point behind with a win. So a single point, very useful at this stage of the season. Juve are happy enough in Champions League places in third. They've got a reasonable 5-point gap to Bologna. This is the key gap. 12-point gap to Lazio. Juventus' job, I think, this season is just to make sure they get into the Champions League group stages. I think they're looking okay for that. Unlikely they'll be able to affect the top 2. Eredivisie, over 2.5 goals, both teams to score. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 2.5 goals. Both teams to score in every single one. Roda and De Graafschap are going off my Christmas card list. That would have been a very, very nice payout. As you know, what I tend to do on a Friday. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals accumulator. When it comes in, it can be very fruitful indeed. Atletico Bilbao, Granada won. Granada won. This was another trade. Own goal from, is that Iñaki Williams? Probably not. He's ex of Real Madrid. It is Iñaki Williams. There we go. So that's a pretty good signing for Granada. Quick equaliser from Atletico Bilbao, as you'd expect, really. But they didn't push on and get the win. They'll be very disappointed with that. But looking at Granada, was this another survivalist hope? Well, just a single point for them. They're still in a spot of bother, 7 points away from third bottom. 10 points away from safety. And that's playing a game more than a lot of others. It looks a bit damning for Granada, but another solid performance from a relegation-threatened side. Tends to be the theme from March to April, doesn't it? Those were the main leagues yesterday. Busy day today. We've got a live stream as well. So let's bring that up. So it's there waiting for you at Football Trading Profits YouTube channel, at Football Trading Profits, 2:30 p.m. That I think is wrong. I'll have to change that to 2:30. And hey presto, there it is. So I hope to see you there for a live stream today. They've been pretty profitable. And if you're relying solely on Telegram, you're at a disadvantage. I do provide a lot more in the live stream, and there's a lot more talk about getting out of trades in the live stream. I can't necessarily hold your hand on the Telegram channel as far as getting out is concerned. Luton and Brentford, relegation 6-pointer this, despite Brentford being 15th. So enter this match with that in mind. Both teams have scored in 11 out of 12 Luton matches. So that looks the obvious play. Only 1-0 at half-time since the 5th of December for Luton. Might continue again today, given the need for goals. Sheffield United against Burnley, your old relegation 6-pointer again. Really high-scoring matches for Sheffield United recently. 3-3, 2-2 at home latest against the likes of Fulham and Chelsea. So Sheffield United, but they could get something here today. Burnley set themselves up to be tough to beat. 4 draws, a win and a loss recently. This is exactly what you expect at this stage of the season with relegation-threatened sides. An overemphasis on not conceding, although that's not the case for Sheffield United with the 2-2 and that 2-3. Score draws keep turning up for these two. That's my first port of call. Both teams have scored in the last 15. Have conceded in the last 15 plus matches. Wolves and Arsenal, it is of course a must win for Arsenal. Wolves are in 11th. Win-win, loss-loss. Win-win, loss at home recently. Only 1-0 at half-time. That could be a possible angle in. Expect a goal before half-time. Arsenal's only 2024 loss came against Aston Villa, and Aston Villa have pretty much consigned them to not winning the title unless Manchester City cock up. They do have a lot of away matches, Manchester City. That's the only thing these sides have to hope for. It's a must win for the Ars. Wolves have beaten Man City and Tottenham at home, so this is going to be a fascinating match. 2/3 of Wolves' goals at home have come second half. Celta Vigo, Las Palmas in Spain. Impressive away against 11th and lower Las Palmas. Celta Vigo, can they keep them to a single goal? Celta Vigo might be vulnerable then. Rayo Vallecano. Expect that 0-0 sequence for Rayo Vallecano. 2 consecutive to end today. Osasuna matches against 12th and lower have been goal fests. Over 3.5 goal the tendency. And they tend to score 2+ goals as well. So watch out for Osasuna bite today. I don't know why Rayo Vallecano are favourite. Desperate need for points for Rayo, of course. And they're putting in a good run. 6 points above relegation zone. 2 consecutive 0-0s. That's still points. Valencia against Betis, 2.45. Give that one a miss. Girona and Cadiz, 3rd in the league against 3rd bottom. Don't underestimate Cadiz at this stage of the season. Although no defeat in 11 at home for Girona, it's going to be tough nut to crack. All defeats away for Cadiz against the top 7. In the German Bundesliga, Heidenheim and Leipzig. Both teams to score are possible here. Heidenheim do a lot of coming from behind in the second half, so watch out for that. Leipzig are on an excellent recent run to try to cement that Champions League place in 4th. So they might have momentum on their side today. Hoff and Borussia Dortmund, Mönchengladbach, I'll give that one a bit of a miss. It's very hard to read the Hoff at the moment. They do tend to see goals before half-time. Köln and Darmstadt, bottom 2. The market has gone straight for FC Köln here in what is a must-win for both teams. Wolfsburg and Bochum Dano. Nerves might trump form. A must-win for both teams. Must take points off a near rival rather than condemn them to relegation. Both teams have scored in the Wolves' last 7 home matches, so that could occur today. Union Berlin and Bayern Munich. Well, the usual rule with Union Berlin is when the market speaks, they tend to turn up and get a result. Bayern Munich's loss to Heidenheim has paid off. I think it was a calculated loss, given the fact they weren't going to catch Bayer Leverkusen at the top, and they got that 2-legged win over Arsenal. So that loss to Heidenheim, a very useful tool for Bayern Munich. They've got nothing to play for really now. They can't win the title. Unlikely they're going to be hampered in their Champions League pursuit. So watch out for this. It could be a match where Bayern Munich lack bite. Empoli and Napoli in Italian Serie A. Lay any second half 0-0 here. Both teams to scores are possible with Empoli not winning. So that would be my solitary angle there. Verona and Udinese. Watch out for another score draw for Udinese against the team 13th and lower. 5 of Verona's 6 wins this season, though, have come against 13th and lower. So on that basis, they'll be quite confident of ending that draw sequence that we'd expect from Udinese against 13th and lower. Let's have a quick look at the tennis. It is the season for tennis trading. and just have a look at yesterday and see if you can find an angle. I've got one already. We'll come to that. 1.73, losing in a tiebreaker, losing a tiebreaker. This is pretty much even Stevens. So normally you'd expect a 3-setter with an even Stevens, but 2 consecutive tiebreakers. Unlucky for Cameron Norrie, be knocked out such a way. 1.14 favourite, loses the first set. That's what we're after. Wins the second. We're after that odd swing. Similar story with 1.57. Fils losing to Lajovic in the first set. Comes fighting back second. Doesn't matter what happens in the third. It's this fight back here that you make a profit from. Like scoring an equaliser in the football. Nothing much doing here, I don't think. 1.5 favourite, loses the first set. Fonseca. 1.44 wins on a wins in a tiebreaker. So this is just very basic research. You can go as deep as you want. Korda beating Barrere. When you look at a defeat, have a look at the rankings. Well, 128th. And then I'm going to see whether there's been a recent injury. Korda injury. I was just kind of praying that it would stop hurting. So recent struggles with a wrist injury. This is an important element of your research, is to check for injuries. I think Bet Explorer or Tennis Explorer or Tennis Explorer. I think Tennis Explorer does have an injury list. I haven't used this for a while. It should be down at the bottom here. It used to be. Injured players. All injured players. What you can do, Control and F. See if Korda's there. Or see if any of the players who you want to research the match are there. It will tell you the kind of injury, or it won't tell you the kind of injury. You might have to look into that yourself, but it does suggest returning players as well. That could be an interesting element just to watch out. This one is even better because it provides you the tournament detail. So you'd ignore any of the futures or any of the lower tier events. Really good website this, tennisexplorer.com. And as I'm collating all of my tennis writings for you, which I'll do soon, I'll put them at footballtradingprofits.com for members. Taylor Fritz, I actually played this one, 1.67. Got a really good reputation, Taylor Fritz, coming from behind, 15th in the world against 46. Odds on favourite, really good stuff. Draper winning the first set, and Taylor Fritz straight back in the second set. So really good, simple trade. Maybe a bit of cash that yesterday. But this was a disappointment for Zverev, 5th in the world against 106th. I don't know the reason. The normal reason is injury. So I'm not sure what happened there. Having to play in the rain. I'm just going to tank. I'm done. That's probably not what you want to hear from someone you're backing. So got to be very wary in tennis training. You've got as much information as possible. And if you can watch it, even better, because this major upset here, that probably have lost a bit of cash second set. But I think it's a mental thing with Zverev, that one. So I'll see you at 2:30 p.m. today at YouTube for the live stream. Do come along. You get a lot more out of them. They don't last long. 2:30 to 5 p.m. covering all the major football. This is your busiest period of the week. Saturday afternoon, 2:30 to 5 p.m. That's when you can make a bit of dough. I hope, at least. I've been in really good form of late. Got you some nice green screens. Hoping to continue in that vein today. So all of the details will be here. Review, preview, and live on YouTube, which I might as well add now. So come along. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And let's see if we can make you some green screens today. So I'll see you a bit earlier, but certainly see you at 2:30. And a quick look at the tennis today. First port of call will be the odds, of course. And do read these previews, they're completely free, and they will give you updates on any injury concerns as well, rather than you having to do all the work yourself. As I said, Taylor Fritz is one to follow. Hopefully he'll be in the same mood as he was yesterday. Can get you a nice, decent trade. Tsitsipas is a bit of a dodge pot. I wouldn't trust him all the time. But do read these previews. It will tell you all about Lajovic as well. Have a great Saturday. I'll see you just after midday. And then I'll see you for a live stream at 2:30.